So today we're going to be making a pork roast. So we're going to be showing that pork roast utilizing all three of our pieces of equipment here. The Irrational iCombi Pro, the Irinox Multi-Fresh, and the Henkelman Boxer 52. So we're going to go ahead and go right into this marinade. One beautiful thing about doing this with using the Henkelman is we don't have to have that marinade. It doesn't have to be 6 to 8 hours overnight, wherever the case may be. We can just go right into it. So I'm going to just do a quick marinade, simple marinade on this. I'm just going to quickly season the pork here with just some salt and pepper. And then we're going to go right into our bag, and then we're going to add a little bit of fresh thyme, a little bit of garlic, and a little bit of olive oil. Right into the bag. So fold the bags to keep the edges clean. And then we'll just add our aromatics, and we will be good to go. So some fresh thyme in each bag. Some olive oil. And then just a couple pieces of crushed garlic. Then we'll come over to the Henkelman Boxer. We have this set on the marinating function, on the marinating function. And the nice thing is this has enough size, we could actually seal both bags at the same time. So we just put the bag in flat across the bar, and then close the lid, and it's going to do everything else on its own. So while we wait for that, which only takes a few seconds, we're going to have our pork ready, which is going to save us a lot of time, and we can then move on to our next function, which will be the cooking section. So. Okay, so now we have our two pieces of pork loin ready to go. We're just going to pop these back in the refrigerator and give them about 15 minutes, and then they'll be ready to cook. Okay, so we're going to get ready to do our pork roast that we marinated earlier. So I'm going to start my preheat first. So it's preheating while I'm doing the work of training it up and getting it ready to go. So I'm going to be coming over here, and I'm going to be doing two applications with this. So I'm going to be kind of doing a trick here where I just start both pieces. One of them I'm going to undercook a little bit so I can save it for a finishing plate that I'm going to be doing later on. So as a way to kind of work ahead a little bit is something that we like to do here at Rational. So I'm going to go ahead and do meat roast, because I have a pork loin roast, and I'm going to do it with the probe, and I'm going to do our normal setting, and I will stick with our medium coloration, and then I'm going to cook this roast to 130 degrees, which typically we'd cook a pork roast to 145. But again, we have a method for doing that where I can start both of them and then just finish one as I need to, and then move the probe and let the other one finish. So we have one to serve later and one to serve now. So we're preheated and ready, but I'm not trayed yet, so I'm just going to silence that and then go get trayed up and ready to go. So here we have our pork loin roast that we marinated earlier. Remember that marinade was just olive oil, some garlic, and some fresh thyme and salt and pepper. So we have those. They were sealed using the marination function in the Henkelman Boxer. And now we're going to go back and we're going to start to roast these and get these ready to go. So I'm just going to cut these open. And I have two roasts, kind of two different sizes. But again, that's not going to be really much of an issue because I'm going to show you kind of how we work around that and still get great results. We'll take these out, remove the garlic and the herbs because during the roasting process they would just kind of burn. All right, so at this point there's really no need to do anything else. I'm cooking these today on our Rational, another one of our Rational accessories, our roasting and baking, our granite enamel pan. And we're going to be using that. So now we're ready to load. All right, so now we're going to load these. And since we're preheated, we're ready to go, we're going to load these. We're going to use our core temperature probe again so we can make sure we get that exact doneness that we're looking for on our meat. So I'm going to slide these in. Using my core temperature probe, I'm going to go up and then go in at an angle on that probe, or on that product. The one thing with this, we want that probe in there as far as it can go. Our core temperature probe reads at 6 different spots, 5 along the stem, and one at the top, and the top one reads the surface temperature, so it can help monitor that coloration that we're looking for. So now what we have to do is we can go back, move on with our day, and this is going to let us know when that first pork loin is ready to roll. All right, so our first pork loin is done, so we're going to get ready. This is the one that we're going to be chilling and using for our finishing plate later on. So I'm going to grab my pre-chilled tray. Open this up and remove my core temperature probe. Then my tongs. Take out our first pork loin roast. This one we want to chill right away. We want to stop that cooking. All right, so I have my first roast that I have in the Irinox chilling. I'm going to reinsert my core temperature probe into my second roast. All right, so I'm reinserting my core temperature probe. So I'm just going to push the button, and what it's going to do is it's going to go. So now I want to go to 145. That was kind of the default that it did. I'd already moved the probe into the next pork loin roast. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to close that unit, or close the door, and it's going to continue to cook. The one thing with this one is since I'm using this one now, I want a little extra color on it. So I am going to, I'll do a little bit of extra color on it right at the end, right before I take it out. Okay, so our pork roast is done, but what I want to do is I want to do an end option, and what that is, because I would just like it to have a little more color. So now I have this, which is our coloration setting. I'm going to take it up to 4, and I'm going to do this for about 5 minutes. What that's going to do is that's going to just really it's going to dehumidify the cabinet. What it'll do is it'll give us a lot more browning on the top of that roast. Since it's just a little pale, especially because we were cooking 2 at the beginning, I didn't want this second one to get too dark. So this is always another nice after or end user option that we can do with this. So we're gonna give this just a few minutes and let it get that nice color, and then we'll pull it out and carve it up. All right, so our iCombi Pro is letting us know that our pork roast is now browned and crisp, just like we wanted to. So let's go pull it out. Remove our core temperature probe. And now we have a nicely evenly browned pork loin roast. We're going to carve this up and plate it in just a minute, but first we're going to let it rest a little bit. All right, so our pork loin is rested, ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and just carve that up and just plate it up so we can have this, because we're serving this on our little event that we have going on tonight. So the one thing, cooking pork like this in the iCombi Pro under the roast setting, you can really see it holds and retains the moisture really well. So that's kind of a key function that we're looking for. Okay, so we have this, kind of hide these end pieces under here. We just have a few simple quick garnishes. Okay, and now we have it. We have our pork loin roast ready to serve that we've marinated using the Henkelman and then roasted using the Rational iCombi Pro.